Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the co-owner and creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about the anxious preoccupied attachment style and fearful avoidant especially, and their experience with the core wound, I am bad. So before I dive into this video, I want you guys to know we are launching a 90-day challenge to try to create more of a sense of community for everybody, especially going into like the fall and winter and things being closed and this being sort of a strange time around the world right now. And so this 90-day challenge is your 90 days to become secure. And the reason we did this is we found that if people take the first 6 courses on the Personal Development School guide that are recommended for their attachment style, and you can like reasonably do 2 courses a month, and if you complete the workbooks and attend 2 live webinars a week for integration, then people are becoming secure. Our success rate is huge for people who are becoming secure. And that's a feasible thing in 90 days if you're committed, if you do the work and you show up and you like really put the effort in. And so for going into 2021, we want you to make this your 90-day challenge because it's so exciting. And it's just, we've had really amazing results and it's a really beautiful thing. So if you want to join, we have an exclusive Facebook page, and this is also from people who are members already and just want to jump in. This is exclusively for members. It's the PDS 90-day challenge. And if you've already taken like the first 1 or 2 courses and you're already a member, you can just finish completing and then you can add 2 courses, or you can just jump on from where you're at. But the whole point here is that you can track your progress and connect with other like-minded people in the 90-day challenge with you. And we have a PDS Facebook page in the description box below that you can join if you've signed up or already are signed up and you want to join our 90-day challenge to becoming secure. So very excited for this. And this is something that you can like take away from, being kind of isolated. At least you have a goal, something you can look forward to, and a community, which is, I think, a really important part. So anyways, so today we're going to talk about this core wound. We do have an advanced core wounds course that goes into like the 22 core wounds and talks about the impact, where they come from, the experience, all these different things. But stay tuned, because for this video, we're going to talk specifically about the experience of I am bad. And in our next video, we're going to talk about how to reprogram it. So let's talk about the core wound, I am bad. The potential origin of this core wound is having critical parents who were shaming often. And really what I mean by shaming is having parents who said things like, you are bad when you make a mistake, instead of what you did wasn't good or what you did was bad. And whenever we have you are bad for making a mistake, we literally associate that we as a human at our core are bad. And this can become part of somebody's subconscious identity, especially if there's a lot of repetition and emotion. So you're repeatedly told this and it doesn't feel good. Over time, that's going to be hardwired into your psyche. Now, this could also be the byproduct of having authoritarian parents who ruled through guilt tripping or fear, growing up in an environment where you felt like you had to caretake for a parent, and as a byproduct of that, you felt petrified of making mistakes because you would see that maybe your mistakes would cause them to be in pain. Even though that's not really how it works, that's how you might have perceived it. So for example, maybe you had a parent who was an alcoholic and you were like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I'm going to be able to survive, or if I'm going to be okay if my parent drinks again, who's supposed to be taking care of me. And so I have to be perfect and never make any mistakes because I associate that me making a mistake pushes them over the edge, and then I'm the cause of them drinking. And so a lot of children have this who, and grow up with this into adults, but a lot of people who go through some kind of pain where they're parentified, where they're caretaking for a parent, where they see a lot of their parents' emotions, they can feel a lot of guilt or shame easily for their mistakes, especially if there's a lot of pressure put on them to be perfect, to not rock the boat any further than is being rocked. And this is largely why this is a very strong FA core wound. Now, the extreme guilt and shame that come with I am bad are sort of the survival response. It's like you being hyper-focused on not being bad because you might associate that if they're not okay, you're not going to be okay. And so you have that extra pressure or responsibility often perceived. Now, society as well can have an impact on the core wound of I am bad, because some societies or some cultures or individuals put an extreme amount of importance on being good instead of accepting and understanding our mistakes as human beings. Let's just take, a very strong religious culture as an example. So maybe somebody comes from like a very, very strong religious background where there's a belief that you have to be good to receive God's love, or, you know, and that your mistakes mean that you're a bad person or that you're shameful, as opposed to recognizing maybe that a mistake is part of our human experience and growth, and you know, maybe we can do something about that and be accountable for it and think about it and act differently next time. But if there's more of an emphasis on being punished for mistakes and that you're bad and that you have to be a good girl to be worthy of love, or a good boy to be worthy of love, instead of acceptance and understanding and sort of more unconditional love, then we can put a lot of emphasis around this core wound as well. And this isn't me saying any religions are bad or anything like that. I'm just giving an analogy for in very extreme context, if that makes sense. Now, this could also be later in life developing this core wound if you have a partner who is constantly blaming and shaming you for different things. The emotions that come with the I am bad core wound are things like shame, guilt, in extremes at times, feeling the need to hide, disappear, escape, sense of heaviness, sadness, despair, or a great fear of being shamed or humiliated. And sometimes this can lead to self-sabotage, self-destructive behaviors, trying to destroy the badness in you, overcompensating to always be good, taking on perfectionism to the nth degree, either because you feel like this is how you survive or because you're trying to avoid the subconscious fear of humiliation, if that was maybe a parenting strategy or something you were exposed to in the past. The I am bad core wound can also create lying at times to avoid punishment or humiliation, extreme defensiveness, avoidance of responsibility, deflection of accountability, or wanting to have excessive privacy, really wanting to hide out. Other core wounds can create the need for excessive privacy as well, but it's really shame, the feeling of shame that comes with the I am bad core wound that often makes people want to hide. Another big manifestation of the I am bad core wound is trying to control people's perceptions of you, going out of your way to save face or to avoid shame, or to even become a perfectionist with other people's feelings, or hyper vigilant with other people's feelings and opinions of you. Now, the effect of some of this is when this is triggered, you might do a lot of self-shaming, beating yourself up, guilting yourself in your thinking, way overcompensating or over-apologizing when making a mistake, feeling like mistakes make you an awful person, feeling responsible for other people's feelings again to a very strong degree, and feeling responsible for other people's interpretations of what you say or do. Having poor boundaries to avoid guilt, or self-sacrificing to avoid feeling this wound being activated. And that can lead to a lot of resentment long-term in relationships. It can lead to feeling stuck. It can lead to feeling like you give of yourself until you run dry, which obviously can create exhaustion, codependent patterns of behavior, anger long-term when that resentment has built up and you feel like a volcano waiting to explode. Having self-destructive tendencies, because when we feel like we are bad, we think we are also not deserving because bad people don't deserve. And that's, very pervasively a part of cultural belief systems. And so sometimes we'll push people away. We'll destroy things that we think are too good for us or that we are unworthy of if we're bad. And we can also get into a space where we are consistently foregoing the idea of boundaries, thinking that boundaries are a bad thing, until we get really upset, and then we can have really extreme boundaries as sort of an equilibration method to overcome this. Now, the attachment style most associated with this core wound, as we know, is fearful avoidant, then followed by AAs, and rarely DAs. DAs tend to have their own wounds that produce similar emotions, such as I am defective, but DAs rarely carry extreme manifestations of the I am bad core wound.